choice unites us. Let this be love. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love. Yeah, I like it too. And it still has a love, love, love. That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. they had a motive. Yeah. Yeah. May I see with the eyes of love. May I hear with the ears of love. May I speak with the words of love. May love be in my heart. May I see with the eyes of love. May I hear with the ears of love. May I speak with the words of love. May love be in my heart. May I, may I, may I, may I, may I see with the eyes of love. May I hear with the ears of love. May I speak with the words of love. May love be in my heart. May I see, meditation. May I hear with the ears of love. May I speak with the words of love. May love be in my heart. End it there? May I? Yeah. Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Saying that to me means I have to do it now.
Yes, you do. But that.
I told the ministerial, I say, okay, I said, we need a spokesman. I'm being a spokesman for a little while, but not forever. So, and I have a meeting actually with everyone on the 16th to say, okay, you tell me what you think we all need to do, and we can all choose what we want to do, because it's got to be a collaboration.
Yeah.
It can't fall on one person again, because I've been there too many, and it's not me, but I mean, I've seen, what it happens is one person.
Yeah. Well, you get to teach them how to be responsible for their part. Isn't that wonderful? I mean, and you don't have to do it by saying, you got to do this or you got to do that. You just get to teach them how to be part of a team. Sounds great. I like that. Is this good enough? You think it's the right? How's this sound, Michelle? It's all right? All right? All right? All right? Good. Mark it.
I'm going to use this mic for holy, holy, holy. Okay, sorry. Okay. We are, yeah. Spirit divine, yeah.
Spirit divine, come to me. Healing love, healing me. Open my heart, allow me to see beauty and love that lives in me. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy.
What?
I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy.
We do it on the last verse.
I am holy,
We do it the last
holy,
verse.
holy.
We do it on the last chorus.
Holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am whole.
Okay. Well, and usually if people are joining in, yeah, okay. All right. I got that note from both. That's good. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, there she is. Are we ready for praying? Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I need you. I need to come in this week and practice this, or I'll never be able to do it by myself. Is there a day when you come in anymore? Thursday? Perfect. Okay, I'll set up a time. Okay. Such a beautiful song.
We are holy, 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 Levi.
Hey, question.
Yes.
Random question.
Yes.
You like accept? Man?
Accept?
Yes.
Okay, I gotta listen to him.
You should.
Yeah, I'm gonna today.
My dad loves UFO, but his favorite band is Accept.
Accept?
So you might
Okay,
like them too.
I gotta listen to him. Yeah.
Check it out.
Well, I'm sure that your dad and my taste in music are
I think
going to be reasonably similar. Yeah, that's fantastic. I want to listen to it.
Yeah, check it out.
So that's one of my favorite principles, so I won't forget it. See, acceptance
Accept.
is one of my
There you
favorite
go.
principles.
Exactly.
Great.
They're a unity band.
Usually close. Welcome. I'm Reverend Greg Dorst, and I'm so happy to be here today. It's great to see all of you. Since our talk today is going to be about order, I'm going to say that that bell, that gong, was a call to order. How about that? Order in our lives, of course, demands that we be conscious, that we be aware, and that we be awake. So I'd like to draw you into consciousness right now. If you'll join me, please, by taking a deep breath. And recognize that God is present right here, right now, in this very space, in, around, and through all that is going on in this magnificent Unity of Pasadena sanctuary. God is present right here, right now, operating as you, operating as the Word, operating as the creative ability, that beauty, that divine intelligence moving in, around, and through you, bringing new ideas to bear, understanding that which is, giving your kindness and caring. That's how we feel God. That's how we know the presence, loving what is. And so today we are just so thankful for all that we have. We have one another. We have a space to meet. We've got an absolutely magnificent musician corps here with Felice and with Levi, and we're so excited about that. We have volunteers that we are so blessed to have, the board of directors, the board of trustees, the volunteers who help us out every single morning in our Sunday services with our live streaming and with our sound. So we're so thankful for this. So we just move into today knowing that all is perfect, that all is well. We accept this with great gratitude. I release these words into the law of mind, knowing that they're done. And please join me by saying, and so it is.
Please join in.
We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy. Spirit divine, come to me. Healing love, healing me. Open my heart, allow me to see beauty and love that lives in me. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy.
So it's true. You're holy. It's absolutely true. The blessings that you bring to this world are that which are given to you by God. There's nothing unholy about that at all. In fact, the best way to describe that is a holiness that resides within you. And giving it to others is even more holy. Brings about the holiness of the moment, brings about the holiness of your being. Thank you so much for the song. And thank you so much for joining in to remind us of who we truly are, that we are whole. And so here we are. I welcome you. Unity of Pasadena. We're working live stream. Yes, for those of you who are watching, welcome as well. For those of you that are here this morning with your masks on, I thank you so much for doing that. You know, what we do is we try and be mindful of what's going on in the world, and we try to act accordingly so that we can protect not only ourselves but protect others. And that's a caring aspect of life that I really, really enjoy. I talked about it last week with divine intelligence and how that element is truly divinely inspired through us, through divine intelligence, that we really are hardwired to help one another and to be of service. And so I thank you for doing that. Thank you for being mindful of everyone here. We also are welcoming the newcomers, the people who have never been here before. If you have a need to speak with somebody about what it is you heard today, we have prayer chaplains, and the prayer chaplains are available. And thank you for being prayer chaplains today and every day. And we also have myself and board members who would be happy to talk to you about what goes on here at Unity of Pasadena. So we have some traditions that we do. We have a unity blessing that we absolutely adore, and we'd like you to join in that unity blessing with us. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you just the way you are. We also have a statement of faith we'd like you to join in with us as well. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotence, and I am one with that presence and power. Yes, you are. That is the truth. So enjoy today. You're in for a treat. Thank you.
And I'd also like to welcome you to the celebration of our community. I'm Barbara Sakuma, and I'm happy to be a part of this vibrant, thriving community, which is based on some core values that drive us as a spiritual family. Let's say them together. Creating community, living love, teaching truth, and serving spirit. And we have a vision statement that is in alignment with Unity Worldwide Ministries, and it is envisioning a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And to put feet onto that vision statement, we have a mission, which is transforming lives by living and sharing our inner truth of divine wisdom, compassion, and love using practical spiritual principles. And we do have a number of things going on throughout the month, and so I hope you picked up your September bulletin. It does get updated as things are added to the calendar. So you have your centering prayer and meditation every Thursday evening here at 5:30 in the sanctuary. And we have our third Monday of the month community connections, and the next one is going to be on September 20th. And this is the second week of us using a new plan for hospitality. And so I want to thank all of those of you whose last names begin with the letter G through the letter L for any goodies that you've brought today to share. And then next week, those of you whose last names begin with M, N, O, P, Q, and R hopefully will take the lead. However, anybody who wants to bring anything at any time is more than welcome to do so. And as you know, as Reverend Dorst already spoke about, prayer is a core value here in Unity of Pasadena as well, and our prayer chaplains spearhead that. And during the last week, they created some lovely meditations online for Unity's annual worldwide day of prayer. And then, as you know, they hold all prayer requests that they receive here in prayer, and then monthly forward them on to Unity Village, to Silent Unity back there, where they are again held by a trained, big team of prayer people for a whole 30 days. And so we thank you, prayer chaplains, again for all that you do, your Sunday meditations, your monthly tea times, your prayer with us, and we thank you for also being daily word readers. And so now, in preparation for today's meditation, which will be led by Andrea Sheridan, we have Michelle Gillette, who will share today's daily word.
Today's daily word, guidance. I open my mind and heart to receive my guidance. Sometimes I have insisted on figuring out things for myself rather than asking for anyone's help. Over the years, I have learned the value of asking for guidance and sharing what I've learned when others ask me. As we exchange ideas, we may tap into a higher wisdom that had not been apparent to either of us alone. This higher wisdom is not outside myself. It is a still, small voice, mine to call upon at any time. I am always able to ask for guidance to show me the way forward. I access my inner guidance by opening my mind and heart in prayer. Then I watch and listen, remembering that divine guidance may come in a familiar way, or perhaps in an unexpected way that will surprise and delight me. Our spiritual reference is Isaiah chapter 55, verse 9. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. And so it is. Amen.
May I see with the eyes of love. May I hear with the ears of love. May I speak with the words of love. May love be in my heart. May I see with the eyes of love. May I hear with the ears of love. May I speak with the words of love. May love be in my heart. May I, may I, may I, may I see with the eyes of love. May I hear with the ears of love. May I speak with the words of love. May love be in my heart. May I see with the eyes of love. May I hear with the ears of love. May I speak with the words of love. May love be in my heart.
Take a gentle breath in with me as we center ourselves in divine spirit. Slowly, let us pray together the prayer of St. Francis. God, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. O divine presence, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Now, as we close our eyes, we breathe in peace. We breathe out every worry, concern, or care. We gently center ourselves and rest in our divine nature, the divinity that we truly are, peaceful, serene, and whole. Here we are anchored in the divine spirit we truly are, the soul of our beingness. We find strength as an endless inner resource. We experience divine flow in our days as God orders our day and in our lives and in the moments of each and every day. Within we find our own divinity awaiting our recognition. And it is our wholeness, our health, our vitality, and our well-being. Now go within with me to this peaceful presence as we commune for 2 minutes in the silence. gently opening our eyes. We come back into the room as we close our period of meditation together. As we go into the world this week, we are God's expression of harmony, wholeness, love, kindness, and care. We live out the peace of God's presence in our lives as our lives.
Everything is sacred. Everything is filled with the divine. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everything is a wonder, unfolding right before our eyes. Everything is alive in spirit, with spirit. Everything is a blessing, bursting from the earth and from the sky. Everything is alive with spirit, with spirit. Everyone is sacred. Everyone is filled with the divine. Everyone is alive with spirit, with spirit. We are alive 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 with spirit, with spirit.
Well, I'll even go one step further. We are alive because of Spirit. How about that? Yeah, you know, it's great to be alive with Spirit, which means that God is flowing in, around, and through us as us. But we're really alive merely because of Spirit. We are created not only in the image and likeness of God, but from God's stuff. You know, I mean, this is how we were brought into being. And that's why we're all sacred. That's why everything is sacred. Because everything is made of that God stuff. Thank you so much for the song. I really appreciate it. And I truly believe that there is the sacred everywhere. You don't have to necessarily be in a particular space physically to feel the sacred nature of what's going on. We're interpretation and perspective machines, you know. I mean, that's really what we are. And when we start talking about love, we can bring love to the moment just by going within. When we see somebody tear up a little bit, we can feel ourselves in that space that they're in as well. You know, we call that those mirror neurons. You know, when people have emotions and they display those emotions, we start to feel them too. And we have the mirror neurons. We have the ability in our being, in our brains, to bring on the emotion and the feeling that somebody else is having. You know, we can call that empathy if we want, we can call it compassion, we can call it all that kind of stuff, but we are just connected in ways that are incredible. I mean, for us to be able to do that, see that, and feel it. And, you know, I got to say, you know, my dog can feel those emotions too. My dog knows when I'm sad, when we're sad. You know, it's incredible, isn't it? And so there are mirror neurons, not just in humans, but in animals too. So anyway, I am here because I want to be. You guys make it so. You know, it's so cool to be in a place where you want to be, isn't it? I mean, and that's a matter of perspective and interpretation too. You know, people can be afraid of their environment. They can look around and say this is wrong or that's wrong. But I'm here because this is magnificent, it's perfect, it's beautiful. Those that I can't see and haven't met yet who are on, you know, the live stream, you're in that group as well. I consider you to be perfect, whole, and complete as well, and I honor you for being here. So we're on order. You know, we've been talking about order. And speaking of order, I think it's magnificent that unity itself as an organization creates the order that allows me to figure out what it is I might need or want to talk about on Sundays. You know, isn't that great? Because there are 12 powers that unity holds as sacred. And those powers have been divvied up amongst the months this year for themes. And, you know, you've heard me speak on things like understanding and will and imagination, and those are some of the powers that we have dealt with thus far. But this month, we're talking about order. Now, order is an interesting power. You know, it's something that takes a little bit of thought. It's something that demands us to go deeper to understand exactly what that principle or that power of order really is. Last week, we talked about building the foundation of this idea of order so that we can understand what that power is about and how we might be able to use it. We have to be able to see it first, you know. We really have to be able to see order below the depth of what looks like chaos. Because we can see chaos out there. I mean, we know that exists. And I'll talk in a moment about why we know and how we, you know, seem to gravitate toward that in our lives. 1% of your life may be somehow chaotic, but 99% is pretty cool. 99% of your life is really, really zinging along in a beautiful, wonderful way. And what do we key on? The 1%, right? We key on the 1%. And it makes it look like inside of us, as we perceive it, that our life is just complete and total chaos. But it's not. I mean, really, life is going on just beautifully, you know. So we talked about divine intelligence and the way it shows up so that you can see it, you know, and that divine intelligence really is God producing order throughout all that we do, all that we are, all that we see. And, you know, if we don't look for it or know what to look for, we might miss it, you know. And the favorite thing that I talked about last week, by the way, is divine order as service. You know, and the reason why I love that is because it seems that we're hardwired for service, you see. It seems that we're hardwired to help each other. It seems that we're hardwired to want to be on your team, on one another's team. This is the way I put it, pulling on your end of the rope, you know, pulling with you to get something done. It seems that we want to be of service, hardwired to do so. That's divine intelligence working in our lives, helping one another to move forward. That aspect is what keeps us from keying on the problematic things. You see, we can have earthquakes and disasters and hurricanes and all of those kinds of things going on and say, the world is in chaos. But when you look at the people providing service, you go, oh my gosh, there is order, and divine intelligence is at work through your loving hands, through the loving hands of others, through the helpers, as Mr. Rogers would say. So, I mean, you can see divine intelligence at work there. You know you're hardwired for this idea of helping others. You know, it's just, it's an amazing thing about human beings. It's that maybe connected some way to those mirror neurons we were just talking about, right? How I can feel your pain, how I want to help, how I can feel the love for you. What an amazing way to understand life. Well, that's order, okay? That's order, because divine intelligence sets the playing field, you know? I know that we have a coach in the room today, which is absolutely fantastic. Then I can use my athletic references, you see, because the playing field, you know, there are rules on the playing field. The playing field's one thing, the rules are another, you know. We're going to be talking about some of those rules and how, you know, order is involved in all of that. So I decided to talk today to get us moving along that same idea of what order is really about. I decided to talk on the general and the specific today. And you probably don't know what that means. So I'll just kind of describe it in my own way. So, you know that when you drill down real deep into something and get to know what's going on and see it really up close and get involved in the process personally, you oftentimes don't like what you see. What you see wasn't what you thought you were going to see. They call that finding out how the sausage is made, you know. We all love sausage, you know. I mean, it's so tasty, but you know, you don't want to know what goes in it. That's the way that works. You know, you don't want to get behind the scenes. You don't want to drill too deeply into, you know, what's happening in the moment, because there are warts there, you see. I mean, that's the whole idea. You know, you get too close to the frog, you see those warts. Otherwise, oh, they're so cute. And they make this really, really cute sound. You know, so if you get really, really close to something, you start to see the problems that exist within it. That's the specific, you see. I mean, if you're living in that world where you're saying, oh, you're a problem. You know, I do not like your behavior. You know, now that I live with you, I figure out exactly what you're all about. And I don't like any of it. You know, and now I love a laugh because now I struck a nerve. I get it. So, you know, that's getting really specific into what's going on in life, and you're finding problems with that. You know, real difficulty with that. I get that. You know, we all have a tendency to kind of get into that. I mean, social media is just the greatest with regard to that, isn't it? I mean, that's where everybody finds the, shall I use a nice word, picadillos, you know, that other people carry with them, you see. Just those little faults or whatever you want to call them. That's where people get called out for being bad or for doing something wrong. You know, I mean, people get real close to the circumstances, and that's what they see, the warts. Rather than using a different perspective, which is to pull back from the specific so that you can start to see what I term the general. Now, we really have some amazing internal visual tools. When I say internal visual tools, I'm talking about imagination, our skills with our imagination. We've been given some incredible internal visual skills. All of us have seen Google Maps, where you can just pull from the specific street that you want to see, clear up to where you're nearly in outer space. Or we've seen maybe even documentaries or scientific programming where it does that for us, right? The camera just goes, whew, right from the surface of the earth, clear out to where you're hundreds of miles away. You're actually in space. What an amazing thing to be able to do in your mind. You can do that in your mind. You've seen it so many times. You can do it in your mind. You can see the earth from space in your mind. Our forebears couldn't do that, you know. Our forebears couldn't pull out, you know, and see how beautiful this blue pearl of a planet is, you know. We see it spinning in space. I mean, you can actually see it spinning in space from outer space. It's moving, turning. Ah, the order, the beauty. What a gorgeous perspective. I mean, that is so cool. You see, I call that the general. You pull yourself out into that general realm and you go, wow, there is order. I'm telling you, there's order. There's a moon going around this planet. There's a sun out there that warms it during the day, keeps it cooler at night. I mean, aren't we fortunate that this planet spins? I mean, the moon doesn't, right? We know that. You know, we've been there. Like, you know, they took a camera there so I can say, we've been there. Yes, I walked on the moon with those people. Yes, I did. So, you know, we get the perspective of what the moon was like. And, you know, on one side, it's always sunny. On the other side, it's dark. And the difference in temperature is unbelievable. I mean, you can't live on the dark side of the moon. Pink Floyd told us that, right? When was that? That was about 1973, I think, right? For those of you who lived in that era. One of my favorite albums of all time, Dark Side of the Moon. Yeah, that's a place where nothing lives, you see. I mean, that's what the whole reference was about. But so that's the general, where we see that order really exists. I mean, we get to see the heavens and the earth in process. We get to see how this whole thing works. We get to see all of the things that our science classes told us about. You know, gravitational pulls and all of the neat things that are going on out there. Yeah, so that general gives us a little bit of perspective on what this thing called order might be. You know, you can't look at this and say, oh, there's no order. You can't. But I'll tell you what, you can go down, zoom on down into a war zone and see people dying and bombs going off and say to yourself, whoa, there's only chaos in this space, only chaos in this place. You know, and I'm absolutely certain that that's exactly the way people felt when the Twin Towers went down, you know, 20 years ago and one day. You know, and I honor the magnificent people that came to help. I honor the lives that were lost. I honor the way a nation moved forward in order to heal. There are so many people that stepped up to say, this is a healing moment, you know. Took the perspective that we need to be helpers in that way too. Not only the ones that lifted the bricks, but the ones that prayed. You know, like our prayer chaplains, the ones that stepped into the moment to be holding the light, the consciousness. You know, being those people that came with a consciousness of peace, an understanding of the infinitude of life, you see. Now, I like that perspective, by the way. I love that perspective. You see, that perspective really, in my view, is laid out in this tie. Now, if you got close enough to see the tie, you'd see that it's the Wizard of Oz tie, you know. It's a Wizard of Oz tie. It has the characters on it. You know, it has the Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion, and it's got the Tin Man, and of course Dorothy, and then in the background you got, you know, Oz, the great city of Oz, you know. And I remember when a person gave me this tie and said, you know what, I'm giving you this tie because you are the wizard. And I thought, oh, isn't that nice? My ego went, oh, boom, you know, like a light bulb that goes off, boom, boom. But you know, I started looking at this tie and I go, well, you know what, no, you know, I'm just another, you know, one of these people walking along the yellow brick road, you know. That's what I'm doing because I'm trying to get to that place that's absolutely perfect. You know, where everything is as it should be. I'm walking on the yellow brick road. I got problems of my own. You know, I see things in my life in that 1% category, you know, that seem to dominate, you know. I mean, I'm on the yellow brick road. I'm not necessarily looking for a brain and looking for a heart and, you know, looking for some courage. You know, I've been able to muster up some of that because I've had great teachers in my life, you know, those people that I've watched demonstrate these things in ways that are just magnificent. Because courage, I mean, that's a really, really weird one, isn't it? I mean, the courage that it takes just to get up and live each day, the courage that it takes to just make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do in the way that you're supposed to do it. The courage it takes to care for people that others won't care for. The courage it takes to be your authentic self. Now, that's a tough one, isn't it? Because you don't want to make anybody think that you're not what you ought to be. It takes a lot of courage. You know, what we learn in this story, The Wizard of Oz, is that all of this is subject to perspective too, you see. And when they got to Oz, the wizard said, you know, you already have these things, essentially. You know, just gave them some documentation that it already exists within them, and all of a sudden, oh, they had it, you know. And that is incredible power within to make that change. So, the Wizard of Oz tie is kind of cool. I like the Wizard of Oz tie because the Wizard of Oz story is so powerful, and you see it in so many things. You can see it in your own life, but you can also see it in the Bible. I mean, I see this in the Bible, you know, where there's something wrong going on, especially in the Old Testament. There's something really, really wrong going on, and people are seeing life as being incredibly difficult. They're without the things that they need. They're oppressed. They're slaves. You know, there's some incredible imagery going on in the Old Testament, but the imagery that's incredibly important is that it seems that the only way to change it was from without. You see, God made all the changes then. God decided this isn't right. You know, there's something that should be perfect, and it's not this. And so God destroyed what was. I mean, it wasn't right, so we're going to flood everybody out. Everybody's going to die. We're going to start all over again. You know, God essentially saying, this isn't right, let's do over, you know? And that didn't just happen once in one place. It happened all over the place. You know, and the idea was we're going to scare people into doing the right thing with some fear, maybe. And God is in charge, redoing everything. Now, when you were here for the talk, Power Not Force, you heard the difference between force and power. Now, that Old Testament is all about force, isn't it? It's all about force, everything happening from without, God destroying things because it's not right. You know, this ought to be right, but it's not. When we get to the New Testament, we find out that God has a new plan, you see. And the new plan was set in writing because, don't you know, people had moved to that space where they were ready for a new plan. You know, they were in that space where they knew that power was necessary, not force. And so what happened in that circumstance is that there was a new understanding of life brought forward. There was a new vision to how this perfection could unfold right here, to how it all could be healed, to how it could all be brought to perfection right here. And that was by following certain principles that were laid down by the master teacher, Jesus. And Jesus brought this idea that love was the key, you see. Jesus brought the idea that understanding and healing and faith and trust in all of these magnificent and beautiful principles would bring about a cohesion of the people that were living at the time, and that force wouldn't be necessary. Because when you love each other, including your enemy, you just don't need to boss people around or kill them. You don't enslave people when you love them. You don't fight with them when you love the kind of, when you act in the way that Jesus prescribed. I mean, I was reading this story the other day, and I think it was absolutely magnificent. It was about an Episcopalian congregation. And this Episcopalian congregation had a male leader. And the male leader said, it's time for female leadership here in this church. And the congregation went wild. What are you talking about, female leadership? Do you know what the Bible says about female leadership? Female leadership shouldn't happen. It's not going to happen in here. Do you really know the gospel, sir? Do you know the gospel? And he said, yes, I do know the gospel. Well, what does the gospel say about that? Female leadership. What does the gospel say? And he said, the gospel says, love everybody all the time. It stopped everybody in their tracks. Oh, love everybody all the time. That's what the New Testament says. Love everybody all the time. You see, but that's the general statement, right? You got to pull yourself up above it. You got to see it as a general. Because if you read every single word and go, that doesn't sound like love, that doesn't sound like love. Oh, he's not talking about love. There's judgment here. This is supposed to be done this way. It's not done that way. It's done this way. That's the specific where things are all wrong. You know, when I say wrong, I'm not, passing judgment on the text itself. I'm talking about the perception, the interpretation of what's going on there. You see it as wrong. You're right down there in every single word and saying, oh, this means this means that. This, you're supposed to do this, and you're supposed to chastise people for that. You kick them out. You can't read this, you can't read that. Whoa, wait a minute. Pull back a little bit. Let's see the general. Let's get out here in outer space and see what the heck is really going on. Because what's really going on is that this gospel, the good news, says, love everyone. And how can you say no female leadership and claim you love everyone? Seriously. I mean, does that make any sense? It makes no sense at all. So, you get out there in the general sense of what an orderly world looks like, and it has to be from a distance. It can't be in every single word and every single idea that somebody puts down. I mean, you hear some really interesting things in the Bible. By Paul. I love Paul. I love Paul, but Paul had his good days and his bad days. He really did. He really did. I got some things here Paul had to say. And Paul, in the Ephesians, the letter to the Ephesians, he says, you are God's work of art. He goes on in Corinthians, in the letter to the Corinthians, the first letter, you are God's temple. Later in the second letter, he says, you are the sweet aroma of Christ. I mean, whoa! That's almost like a love letter, isn't it? You are saints. And then just a short time later, he writes, you're slaves to the flesh. You are all sinners. Your sinful passions bring death. I mean, you can find all those in Romans. He wrote that down. Almost at the same time, he's praising people. I mean, he's having good days and he's having bad days, right? Interpretation, perspective. He got a little too close to him that day, didn't he? That's what happened. He got a little too specific. Got into the specific. So, I love me some Emma Curtis Hopkins. Anybody know who Emma Curtis Hopkins is? All right, she's considered to be a teacher of teachers. I mean, she was involved in the teaching of many of the characters that you find in New Thought, the development of New Thought traditions like unity, like divine science, like religious science. She was a teacher of teachers. She's the one that brought perspective to people. And Emma Curtis Hopkins brought this perspective of drawing back and seeing the whole as good, because all there is good. All there is good. And Emma Curtis Hopkins brought that perspective to the New Thought tradition back then. When people were saying, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you should do this, you should do that. Wait a minute, draw back. I want you to see the truth. I want you to see the order in all of this. Pull back and see good. She used the word good as a euphemism for God. It's beautiful stuff. Let's get some perspective. So, Paul finally found some perspective. He did. He finally found some perspective, and he started referring to all of these people, all of them, even the ones who were sinners, and those who were the sweet aroma of Christ. He started referring to them all as the body of Christ. Oh, how cool. He finally got down to the truth, right? He finally pulled back and said, it can be both. It can be, sometimes you're like this, and sometimes you're like this. When I get back here, I go, every way, everything that you bring, every experience that you give us is good. Isn't it amazing how the great teachers all come up with the same ideas? They do. They say it in different ways. The great teachers in every religious order come up with those same ideas. And you know what? It all has to do with a perspective that changes. That perspective that changes is called enlightenment. It's called the Christ consciousness. It's called heaven on earth. I mean, it's an attitude. It's a being. You can have it anytime you want. That's where order lies. That's where it is. You see, when there is no disagreement between what you think it should be and what it is, that's where order is. That's where it is. That's, as we say, the good stuff. So I thought I would bring you this general and specific idea so that the next time you see something, you do, oh, wait a minute, I need to pull back. I need to pull back on my life, because my life is really good. Because all there is good, but I can see it in this way. If I'm too close to it, if I got my hands all over it, if I won't let it go, if I won't allow it to pass, if I won't, just walk through it and not get all tangled up in it, I mean, really, that's where the good stuff is. And when you recognize it, you can do it. You can. And that's why we talk about it, see? That's why this power of order is so important to talk about, because you got to recognize it so you can do it. So know that I love you. I bring the gospel right to you. Love everybody all the time. And so it is. I don't know. Look at this. Hold on. I just wait a half a moment and I figure that somebody's not doing what they're supposed to do. And then I have to zoom out and go, it's all perfect. It's all perfect. Speaking of all perfect, Charmaine, are you ushing today? All right, Charmaine is ushing. If you don't know what that is, just watch what she does. This is our community giving. And as we hold our gift in our hands, and I'm going to do that, thank you so much. We recognize and know that, if you will with me, please, God is the source of my overflowing supply, and I am grateful. And here's how we love our community. We put it on our heart. We see the community as being completely tethered to one another as the good that we all are, magnified and beautified as a whole. And so, Charmaine, would you please come around and collect the magnificent good that is being spread throughout our universe right now.
Take it easy, baby. You're in the middle of a miracle. You are right smack dab in the midst of the action. You're the main attraction. You're in the right place at the right time. You're a legend in your own mind. Take it easy, baby. You're in the middle of a miracle. You're in the middle of a miracle. You're in the middle of a miracle. When the world outside gets a little bit dry and the same old is passing you by, there's a world outside that smells of freshly falling rain. There are angels waiting like long-lost friends till you find your sense of humor again. Take it easy, baby. You're in the middle of a miracle. You wake up funky like a foggy day, and the world inside feels cloudy and gray. Take yourself for a walk on the wild side, outside in the sunshine. There are mamas and babies and flowers in bloom, and high-flow strutters with a boombox too. Take it easy, baby. You're in the middle of a miracle. You are right smack dab in the midst of the action. You're the main attraction. You're in the right place at the right time. You're a legend in your own mind. Take it easy, baby. You're in the middle of a miracle. You're in the middle of a miracle. Oh yeah. There's a promise in the air that you breathe, even if you don't believe it. You can feel it in the smile of a summer night. You can hear it on the edge of your dreams, softly singing in the starlight. Wake up, baby, everything is alright. Take it easy, baby, you're in the middle of a miracle. You are right smack dab in the midst of the action. You're a main attraction. You're in the right place at the right time. You're a legend in your own mind. Take it easy, baby. You're in the middle of a miracle. You're in the middle of a miracle. You're in the middle of a miracle. We're in the middle of a miracle. You're in the middle of a miracle. Thank you.
Thank you, Charmaine, for collecting these beautiful gifts from these beautiful people. And we know that these gifts are to be utilized for this community here and beyond, to do the good work that we do, to bring a consciousness to the world of healing and peace and love, to be that bright light for each of us to see on the hill, to act accordingly, to bring forth the love and caring and beautiful nature of this thing we call good right in this space. Some things are absolutely worth, without a doubt, caring for and supporting. We are so thankful that you agree, that you come together as a group. We're so thankful for everyone here and the gifts they give so that that might occur. We share this with one another and know that it is good in God's name. Together we say, and so it is. Amen. Thank you, Charmaine. I appreciate it. So I think what we're going to do now is we're going to do the prayer for protection. All right? Let me step up here. Please join me in the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is. I am divine, and all is well. So we have a new song to sing, don't we? We absolutely do. You want to join us in that song? The words are going to be up on the screen. I choose love. You know, we so much enjoyed this song the first time we wrote it. The first time we sang it together, we thought, how neat. Let's do this again. You know, let's sing I Choose Love. It's a choice. It's a perspective, and let's all join in on it.
Peace in my life is growing because I choose love. love's always present. It's what I'm made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One tie that binds us that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace for our planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present. It's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One choice unites us. This be the one. I choose love. I choose love. I choose love.